Framed by the law, the day they messed with the wrong woman. It was just another ordinary afternoon in the sleepy town of Fairview, Georgia. The sun cast long shadows across the cracked sidewalks, and cicadas buzzed lazily in the humid air. Downtown, life moved at its usual unhurried pace. But for Maya Thompson, a 32-year-old black woman with a sharp mind and an unassuming demeanor, this day would be anything but ordinary. Maya had recently returned to her hometown after years away, taking a break from her high-pressure job in Washington, D.C. She had rented a modest house on Maple Street and spent her days volunteering at the local community center, helping at-risk youth find their footing. To the townsfolk, she was a mystery, polite, reserved, and always impeccably dressed. No one knew much about her past, and she preferred to keep it that way. On this particular day, Maya decided to treat herself to a late lunch at a quaint cafe downtown. As she walked back to her car, parked just a block away, she noticed two police cruisers idling nearby. She thought nothing of it until she reached her vehicle and found two officers approaching her. "Ma'am, could we have a word?" one of them asked, his tone polite but firm. "Of course," Maya replied, masking her apprehension. The officers claimed they had received a tip about a suspicious vehicle matching hers, involved in a recent drug transaction. Maya was taken aback. She knew this was a mistake. She had nothing to hide. "You're welcome to search my car," she offered, handing over her keys. As the officers rummaged through her belongings, Maya's mind raced. She had been trained for situations like this, though never as a suspect. Her instincts told her something was off. Moments later, one of the officers held up a small bag of white powder. "Care to explain this?" he asked, a smug look on his face. Maya's heart sank. She had never seen that bag before. She realized she was being set up. "That's not mine," she said calmly. Despite her protests, Maya was handcuffed and placed in the back of a cruiser. The officers didn't read her rights, nor did they allow her to make a phone call. She knew her rights were being violated, but she also knew that revealing her true identity could compromise years of covert operations. At the station, Maya was placed in an interrogation room. Hours passed. No one came to question her. She requested a lawyer, but her requests were ignored. She remained composed, her training kicking in. Meanwhile, Officer Daniel Reed, a rookie cop with just 6 months on the force, was reviewing the arrest report. Something didn't sit right with him. He had seen Maya around town, always helping out at the community center. She didn't fit the profile of a drug dealer. He decided to dig deeper. Reed accessed the body cam footage from the arresting officers. To his surprise, there were gaps in the recording. The footage conveniently cut out during the search of Maya's car. He also noticed that the officers had turned off their microphones during the arrest, a clear violation of protocol. Concerned, Reed approached his superior, Sergeant Mitchell, with his findings. Mitchell dismissed his concerns, warning him not to question his fellow officers. But Reed couldn't let it go. He decided to take matters into his own hands. Reed contacted a friend at the Georgia Bureau of Investigation, sharing his suspicions. An internal investigation was launched discreetly. Within days, evidence surfaced that the arresting officers had a history of misconduct, including planting evidence and falsifying reports. As the investigation unfolded, Maya remained in custody, unaware of the developments. She used her time to meditate, staying centered and focused. She knew that the truth would eventually come to light. A week later, Maya was brought before a judge for her arraignment. The courtroom was packed, the air thick with anticipation. As the charges were read aloud, Maya stood tall, her gaze unwavering. Suddenly, the doors swung open, and Agent Thomas from the CIA entered, flanked by federal agents. He approached the bench, handing the judge a sealed envelope. The judge read its contents, his expression shifting from confusion to shock. "All charges against Ms. Thompson are hereby dismissed," he declared. "She is to be released immediately." Gasps echoed throughout the courtroom. The arresting officers looked pale, realizing the gravity of their mistake. Maya turned to them, her eyes piercing. "You messed with the wrong woman," she said quietly. But the story didn't end there. In the days that followed, Maya's identity became public. She was revealed to be a high-ranking intelligence officer working undercover on a national security case. Her presence in Fairview had been part of a covert operation targeting a cybercrime ring that extended far beyond the town's limits. The officers who had framed her weren't just crooked, they were pawns in a much bigger game. Public outrage exploded. Local news outlets ran headlines like "Hero Agent Wrongfully Accused" and "Fairview PD Under Fire." Protests erupted demanding justice, not just for Maya, but for every person who had ever been wrongly accused. Meanwhile, Maya was asked to speak at several events, including a high-profile panel on systemic injustice in law enforcement. Though she'd never planned to go public, she knew her story could make a difference. "I didn't come back to Fairview to be a hero," she told a packed auditorium. "I came back to heal. But sometimes, even when you're just trying to live quietly, life puts you right back on the front lines." Back at the station, Officer Reed received commendation for his integrity. He later transferred to the Bureau, where he and Maya would eventually cross paths again, this time on the same team. And the officers who tried to frame her? They were indicted, stripped of their badges, and now face the same justice they once twisted. Fairview would never forget the day Maya Thompson stood her ground. And neither would the rest of America. And that's the truth behind what seemed like just another false arrest, until everything unraveled. Maya's story is a powerful reminder that even in the darkest moments, truth, courage, and integrity still matter. Sometimes the system fails us, but sometimes, just sometimes, the right people stand up and change everything. If this story moved you, if it made you think, question, or even just feel something, then don't keep it to yourself. Share it. And hey, if you want more stories like this, real, raw, and gripping, make sure you hit that subscribe button and smash the like. We've got so much more coming, and trust me, you won't want to miss what's next. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.